It gets much harder to calculate the median and quartiles when you have group data, and the process that we're going to use is called interpolation to find the median and quartiles of group data. Actually, the beginnings of the method is what you'd use to find the median and quartiles of frequency data when it's not grouped. So I'll just chuck that in as well, because if it looks like this, that's an easy way to find the median and quartiles. But if it looks like this is a stupid group that I've just made, but anyway, then it's much, much harder. So this is the formula that we're going to use. GW, n minus t over gf plus gb, which you probably think is disgusting. It is a little bit disgusting, I admit, but it's fine, you get used to it. I'll go through what all the little bits mean. So anything starting with a g is to do with a group. So the group width, the group frequency, and the group bottom. So we're going to identify which group our median is in. These are the options here. And then we're going to identify the group width, group frequency, group bottom. The n and the t that we need, well, the n is going to be exactly the same as if we were finding the median normally. We're going to take the total amount of data and divide it by 2. That's not written I don't like the way I've written that, because it says n is n over t, which is not true at all. But total data, total frequency, divided by 2. That's what n is. So the same as normal for the median. We start by saying, well, we've got 22 people, and we're going to divide that by 2. N equals 22 divided by 2, which is 11. So that's just normal. The t, well, we can't do any of this stuff now until we identify which group our person is in. So we want the 11th person. Now I've drawn out all 22 people, and you can see the 11th person here. But normally what we're looking at is just the table. And what we do is we put the cumulative frequency column on the end, 2, 6, 12, 17, 22. Now these numbers are these numbers, 2, 6, 12, 17, 22. So when you look at the cumulative frequency column, you're seeing the last person in that group. So it's almost like all these are hidden, all these numbers, and you're seeing 2, 6, 12, 17, 22. That's the last person in that group. So you know when you see 17, for example, because there's a 12 before it, you know that that means people 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And when we look here and see this 12 compared with this 6, we know that the 12 represents 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And that's good because we wanted person 11 for the median. So we know we want to be in this group here. We don't know what person 11 said, but we know we want to be in the group 11 to 16. So far what have we done? We've said n is 22 divided by 2, which is 11. Not 1, 11. And that has meant that we've identified, by looking down the cumulative frequency, the group 11 to 16. Now t is all of the people, the total amount of people who are smaller than the group we're interested in, before the group. So all these people here. Here's the group we're interested in, 11 to 16. And all the people before that, that's t, the total number of people before our group. So that's 6, and you can see it on cumulative frequency just above the 12, that's a 6. So that's 6. Now everything else is quite easy because it's just from our group, 11 to 16, that we're interested in. The group width, well, the lowest the group goes is 10.5 because there's a gap between 10 and 11 on the table. And then the highest it goes is 16.5 because there's a gap between 16 and 17 on the table. So 16.5 minus 10.5 is 6. So that's how you calculate the width. So the group width is 6. The group frequency, well, that's obviously 6. Just look on the table. And the group bottom, here's the group bottom, 10.5. It's the lowest it can go. That's the group bottom. Now once we've got all these numbers, we're just going to shove them into the formula. I'll just make a bit of room here. And then we can put them all in. Seems complicated at first, this, but it does get easier, I promise. So the median equals the group width times n, which is the normal way we find the person we want, the middle person, minus the total number of people below our group, divided by our group frequency, add our group bottom, which comes out to be 15.5. We knew the median was in the group 11 to 16, so 15.5, that looks about right. Happy with that? Same process for the lower quartile. Let's go again, start from the beginning, just to get the steps in place. So we construct the cumulative frequency, 2, 6, 12, 17, 22. That's identifying 2, 6, 12, 17, 22. That's identifying the last person from each group, so we know which group our person's going to be in. N, that's the normal way we found the lower quartile. We say we take the total amount of data, 22 people, divide it by 4, so we get 5.5. Now normally we'd round that up to 6, but since we're doing an estimate here anyway, we'll just leave it as 5.5. 5.5 or 6, that's that person there. They're at the end of the group 5 to 10. So our median will be something between 5 and 10. So T, the total number of people before that group, that's just these two. You can see it there on the cumulative frequency, 2 people. Now everything is about our group now. Our group width, well, it goes from 4.5 over to 10.5. 4.5 on the left, 10.5 on the right. So that's a group width of 5. Is that right? 4.5 minus 10.5 is not 5. 10.5 minus 4.5 is 6. Silly me. 6. So 4.5 to 10.5 is 6. That's the group frequency. The group width. The group frequency is the number of people identified here, 4. And what else do we need? The group bottom, which is 4.5. That's the lowest the group goes, because there's a gap between this 4 and this 5. And we have to fill that gap in. So that actually the lowest this group goes is 4.5. Okay, all our ingredients sorted. We can put everything in the formula. So it's going to be the group width, 6, times n, which is 5.5, minus t, which is 2, over the group frequency, 4, plus the group bottom, 4.5, which is 5.5 minus 2, divided by 4, times 6, add 4.5, 9.75, and that is between 5 and 10, so that's good. That probably means I'm right. Next one, upper quartile. Let's go through the steps again. We're going to start with the cumulative frequencies, 2, 6, 12, 17, 22, remembering that what they're giving us are these people on the end. So they're just getting rid of all of these numbers here, but we know what they are, and just telling us those end numbers so that we know which group we're looking for. So for upper quartile, we'll first of all calculate n. We take the total number of people, 22, divide it by 4 and times by 3, so that gives us 16.5. Now person 16.5 or 17 is in here, so that means that we're looking in the group 17 to 20, and t, the number of people before that group, is 12. So group width, well, it's going from 16.5 to 20.5, so that's 4. That's going from 16.5 to 20.5, so that's a width of 4. Don't trust myself on my adding, but I'm pretty sure that's right. 20.5 minus 16.5, 4, yes. Group frequency is how many people are in the group, 5 people. Group bottom, that's the 16.5, filling in the gap between this 16 and this 17. So the group bottom is 16.5. Now we've got all the ingredients, we can find the upper quartile, which is the group frequency, times n, 16.5, the person we want, minus 12, total number of people below our group, divided by the group frequency, 5, at the bottom of the group, 16.5, which is 16.5 minus 12 divided by 5 times 4, that's 16.5, 20.1. Now 20.1 isn't strictly speaking between 17 and 20, but don't forget that this group goes from 16.5 over to 20.5, so it does still fit in the group, and it makes sense because we actually wanted the 17th person. They're right on the end of that group, 17 to 20, so having something like 20.1 still makes sense. Now you have a go. Here's some data. Calculate the median, the upper and lower quartiles for the data. The formula you're using is n, so that's divide the total number of people by 2 for the median, by 4 for the lower quartile, by 4 times 3 for the upper quartile, minus t, that's the total number of people below the group that you're interested in, the group that you know your thing lies in. Everything else is about the group. We've got the group width, the group frequency, and the group bottom. And that's the formula that you're going to use. Pause the video, have a go, and then unpause for the answers. So the median first. I'm going to go quite quick because obviously you've done this. N equals 93 over 4, which is 23.25. That means that we're in the group 15 to 19 because person 23 is in here. Then we can say that T is 12, that's the total number of people below. The group frequency is 16. The group width, well, it's going from 14.5 to 19.5, so that's 5. And the group bottom is 14.5. Sticking everything in the formula, that gives us 5 lots of 23.5 minus 12 over 16. Add the bottom, 14.5, is 18.09375. Full calculator display first, and then 3 significant figures. That's the lower, what did I just do? Yeah, lower quartile. Obviously, 18.1 is in the group 15 to 19, so that's a good sign. Okay, median now. So we're doing this time 93 divided by 2 to get n, and that is 46.5. That means we can identify the group 20 to 29 as being where the median lies, and we can say that t is 28. That's the total number of people before our group. Our group frequency is 21, our group width is 10, and our group bottom is 19.5. So putting everything into the formula, the median is the group width times n minus t over group frequency, add group bottom, which comes out to be 28.309,52381. Full calculator display first, and then 3 significant figures. Quick check, is that in the group? Is 28.3 somewhere between 20 and 29? Yep, good. Last but not least, the upper quartile. So to get n, we're going to do 93, the 93 people, divided by 4 times 3 to get the person that we want, 69.75. That means that we can identify the group as being 35 to 39 because the cumulative frequency here is 81, cumulative frequency here is person 67, and we want someone beyond person 67, so we know we're in there. T, the number of people before our group, is 67, the group frequency is 14, the group width, well, it's going from 34.5 to 39.5, so that's 5, and the group bottom 34.5. And then put everything into the formula. Upper quartile is going to be the group width times n, 69.75, minus t, 67, divided by the group frequency, add on the bottom, and that comes out to be 35.48214,286. Full calculator display first, and then 3 significant figures. Quick check, is 35.5 somewhere between 35 and 39? Yes, it is.